views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the hosts and guests, and not necessarily those of the staff and management of WWDB-TV.
Hi, and welcome to Good Medicine. I'm Counselor Holly Davis. We're live from the studios in Las Vegas, WWDB-TV. We're here every week at 11 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesday. By the way, share these programs with others. Don't find some good medicine and keep it to yourself. Share it with others. Today, we are talking about anger management. How do I manage my anger? How do I master myself, my thoughts, my fears, my hurt, my pain? So anger, what is it? I've always believed that anger is just deep, deep sadness. So when I get my most heated, it's because I'm overwhelmed. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm saddened by something. So when you have anger issues and they get ferocious and out of control, and even people blank out, I saw red, that really happens. It is deep, deep seated emotions. Now, emotions are not wrong. I'm going to repeat that. The emotions are not wrong. They're very right, and they're telling you, yelling, screaming, please listen to me. Emotions are wrong when you act out on them. So, anger is not wrong. Being angry is not wrong. It's what you do behaviorally that makes it devastating, not just to you, but the people around you. That's one of the most important things that we need to learn about anger management is when you can't control your anger, you want to control other people, and you believe that if you use the anger, that controlling other people will make you feel better, and it never does. It always makes us feel worse and puts more pain and more anger. It's just a vicious cycle. So let's just knock that off. Let's just stop it. It doesn't work. And let's go back to the root of anger. This would be something that you're going to do on your own, but no, there's a lot of amazing people out there who could help you at any given time. It could even just be friends, family, healthy people that you could talk about some of these things to. WWDBTV.com, you can find a therapist, put your zip code in, find your insurance, and have somebody who specializes in anger management. Would love to help you. That's what they live for. People in the helping fields live for, especially if that's one of their specializations. They've got success after success after success because this is treatable. Continuing to go on and not treat at the anger management will surely lead your life on a path that you are not going to like. And it is either when you are a danger to yourself or others, that path is not going to go well. And let's just stop that. And the cycle of anger, most likely you inherited it from somebody else. Right? It could be your ancestry. It could be the family that you grew up, the town you grew up, the community. But none of that stuff means that you have to carry this anger with you for the rest of your life. As a matter of fact, making nice, making peace, making friendship, making understanding and acceptance of the anger is probably where I would start, right there. Let's look at the soul wound behind why you're so angry. Get a pad, get a paper. Literally do this work. Why am I angry? Write it down. Dispel it. Diffuse it. And then, you know what I have my clients do? Sometimes we'll write it down and then we're like, okay, we're ripping it up and we're gonna throw it away. We're gonna get rid of it. We've looked at it, doesn't have as much power, and we understand why we're angry. We've validated your emotions. That's all your soul has been trying to do. Not hurt other people, not rage, is just have you acknowledge, yeah, that hurt. I'm upset. I'm sad. And it's so much more easy to yell, scream, throw fits, cuss than cry. No one wants to cry. I have an aversion to it too. I hate crying. Kids don't mind it as much, but we're always said, don't cry, I'll give you something to cry about. Or knock it off, right? But I think crying is extremely important. So when my kids cry, let them cry. Now, if they're manipulating and they do that fake crying, which they can actually do real tears, I never say stop crying. I always just say, you know what, I'm going to have you go in the other room and cry. Okay, I know you're sad. I know you're upset. I know you're angry. I know you are. I'm going to validate that, but I'm going to have you go in the other room with that, okay? Because they're doing that too, right? Again, control other people. Hey, newsflash on the anger management. You can't control other people, their thoughts, words, or deeds. The only person that you can control is yourself. And it's not just your behavior. You have to go to the root. You have to go to the woundedness. You can't control what happened to you, but you can control how you react and how you respond. And one of the first things that I would do is give myself as much compassion as I can. Whatever age you were when that soul wound happened, treat yourself like that age. If 4 or 5 something happened to you that hurt you deeply, treat yourself like a 5-year-old that day. Give yourself love, give yourself compassion, give yourself understanding, and work on that for the rest of your life, because it'll be a practice of learning to be compassionate, kind, and loving to yourself. And then I promise you that you will be much more loving, kind, and compassionate to others. Because anger management is just something that you just learn to become aware of instead of running. Instead of saying, it's just something I can't control. You can. And one of the keys is being aware of when you are most triggered. What makes me so angry? When do I lose it the most? So it's like, I'll teach young kids, it's like a volcano. What happens when a volcano erupts? Does it just erupt on us, or do we have some warning signals? Well, there's warning signals. The smoke, the rumbling, the sounds, the smells, the flare. We know it's coming. So if you know it's coming, you don't just walk into it. You take a step back. You center, you listen, you calm. Here's some calming techniques, okay? We don't just feed the fire, we refuel the fire. We bring ourselves into some new understanding. One thing is just feeding your soul. Learning new ways, learning new things, going new directions. Take a different road home. If you always get angry when you go home, listen, take a different direction, listen to different kind of music, maybe go in, settle down, and then go for a walk, right? Just diffuse it. You know how to diffuse it, and you can. It takes a lot of mastery and self-control. Music, so healing, so calming. There's some music that just makes you more angry. There's some movies and shows that just make you more angry. I can personally guarantee you, you know this. Research has shown us this. We know. Albert Bandura said this a long time ago, that if you're watching violent movies, you are going to be aggressive. We've seen it. We know it. It's nothing that we haven't already been there, done that. So watching, listening, and taking things in that continue to exacerbate anger is something that we simply cannot do and expect to walk through and not have aggressive feelings, emotions. Some of those aren't even your own. You're just taking them on. So you've got to learn to protect your soul. So Disney, Pixar, some other programs that are light and easy, calming, or hey, turn the electronica off altogether. No electronica. Right? Maybe some music that is more calming, maybe music that you haven't listened to before. I always go online and I show my clients how to go and find MHZ music. So I'll punch in MHZ music, and then there'll be music that comes up that some of it is for calming, some of it is for concentration, some of it is for healing, cognition enhancer, restoration. Some of it is just positive energy. Some of it's angelic, deep healing for the soul. So just put that on with whatever you're doing. If you're cooking dinner, put on some of this music, and it's just a little background music that just kind of changes the atmosphere. Whatever you can do to change the atmosphere if you feel that rumbling. For me, I like to light incense. I'll light a candle, change the smell, the focus in the room. Walking, not just walking around the block. Get. If you're in Las Vegas, get out of this town. You can go 2 minutes away. You can go up to Mount Charleston. That's a 45-minute drive. You can go to Red Rock. From my kids' school, it's 5 minutes. You can go to Calico Basin and do a little walk on the boardwalk, and it's quick, easy. Doesn't even cost you anything. There's no cost for parking. Get out. Get a little higher perspective of why I'm so angry, why I'm so upset. Because a lot of times it's not other people. It's you not listening to you, not changing your circumstances, not changing your stars. Breathing. I can't say enough about the power of breath, the breath work, calming yourself down. Having a sense of coherence is how you are, is how you're breathing. If you're not breathing, if it's shallow, if you're... That's how you're doing. And you can take that sense of calm and the breath and the pacing yourself wherever you go. If you kept that pace from the time you woke up until the time you went to bed, psychologically, physiologically, you can't stay in a heightened, elevated state of emotionality. So the breath work, it's so important. Bringing yourself back. Bringing yourself back to you. Calm down. Listen to you. Hear yourself out. Why am I feeling this way? Journaling. Write it out. That's a safe person. It's you. You're going to write it out and diffuse the anger or the fear or the sadness or the pain. Being aware. Just being aware of yourself and what has happened and what keeps happening and what you can change and what you can't. Learning to accept. Learning to forgive. Learning to forgive yourself. There's groups. There's amazing groups for anger management. What I love about groups is it's so powerful because there's a synchronicity that happens. One, you don't feel like the only person on the planet that has rage and anger. We all do. We all get angry. But when you're with a group of people, you're like, wow, I'm not the only person that has experienced this. Or you might even say, well, at least it's not as bad as so-and-so. That's okay. That's okay because you're getting more awareness and aha. It's not even judgment, it's understanding. Or I didn't realize it was so bad. So when you get those kinds of understanding with anger management, it is a beautiful thing because most times you guys are going to just feed each other in this anger management group. Not learning to okay the behavior. That's not what we want to do. We want to learn how, and not shame, but we want to learn how to do things different, how to calm ourselves, how to have other coping skills besides rage. Rage is not a coping skill. Okay? Mastery of self, calming yourself down and learning how to do that. Individual counseling, I also think, is huge. If I've said this before, I've said it a million times, and I don't say this like this. I'm saying what saved my life is yoga. Okay, I have 5 kids, 2 dogs, and 2 cats, and we did have 2 fish. And let me tell you, everybody always asks me, how do you do it? And I would literally I got a video, a yoga videos. This is a long time ago. It was 10 years ago. I mean, it was past 10 years ago too, but I had a VCR of a yoga tape. And I started just doing the breathing and learning what each pose would do for you. And it just calmed me down. So if you say that you don't have enough time for yoga, you just don't have enough time. You're spread way too thin, and that's why you're agitated and irritated, right? You've got to make time for that. Getting the blood, water, and air to flow to your brain, just rolling out your neck, just calming yourself, centering yourself, stillness. Just taking that time, 5 minutes a day would do wonders in your life. I promise. I promise. That's why I'm saying that and wet wipes. Okay, I'm telling you. Please do the yoga. I would even do the yoga with the kids crawling the dog and everything else, and so much, overwhelm, which I think most of us are just in overwhelm all the time anyway. And what happens when you do this calming, checking in, being aware, is it just calms the atmosphere. So I'm a huge believer in yoga. You can, if you don't have a studio, you can go to YouTube and find it. Go to Gaia channel, subscribe, and there's some great yoga there too. And then one more thing, and I believe this is one of the most important to refueling that fire with new things and learning new things, the music, the walking, the breath, the awareness groups, asking for help. It's the mind-body connection. You got to get enough sleep. You've got to get enough water. We live in the Mojave Desert. A lot of people don't live here in Las Vegas, but if you are not drinking water and you're dehydrated, you're depleting your poor body that's trying to do all this work and, live here on this gritty planet. Drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, and you have to have the right foods that bring nutrition. If you're eating crappy, you're going to feel crappy. I'm going to repeat that. If you're eating crappy, you're going to feel crappy. You're going to want to take it out on every single other person. Start taking care of yourself. Start taking care of yourself in an act of love. Not I'm doing self-love and self-care. It's just I'm just going to start taking care of myself. No one knocked on my door today and asked if they could take care of me. I'm going to master self and start listening, be aware, start taking care of myself. Get some movement in. Maybe do some, go take a ride on your bike. Go do some fast walking, do some breathing, do the yoga. Get that exercise in, but making sure that I'm eating well, chewing well, and really getting nutrition and nutrients, getting the sleep that I need. That right there, folks, is worth everything. More than any kind of anger management, any kind of medication, anything else you can do is taking exquisite care of yourself, loving yourself. You know why you're so angry? You ignore yourself. Gotta love the self. I'm telling you, you do. No one else can love you the way that you need to love you. No one else. It's very hard to love other people. It's very hard not to be angry, bitter, sour, disgusted with everything in life if you are not listening, taking care of your soul. So that's all I had to say today about anger management. My name is Holly Davis. I'm a counselor here in Las Vegas, and I do this program called Good Medicine every week because I can't do individual counseling with everyone, but I'll tell you what, I can give you the information that might set you free, help you feel better, even just do a little bit of change, and I would be so happy with that, and then pass it on to others. That's what good medicine is. And this is on WWDBTV Las Vegas.